I am currently a sophomore at Vanderbilt University. I attended Wilson senior kindergarten through sixth grade, graduated and went on to attend John Burroughs School. Another school I have nothing but great things to say about. But there I began running track in the eighth grade and battled actually a couple of torn hamstrings throughout high school, but fortunately walked away with a handful of state championships. And then from then on, I knew I wanted to run collegiately. So that kind of set me on the path I am today. And I graduated Burroughs as a National Merit Scholar and went on to attend Vanderbilt University as a student athlete. But I've loved this time, these past few days of reflection, because they've actually shown me that many aspects of who I am today were founded during my time at Wilson. For one, Wilson taught me how to set my expectations high. Like you all have said, it challenged me enough so that I knew my potential and I set my goals high. And from the moment I had heard about Burroughs, I knew that that was a school I wanted to go to. And I didn't have to question whether or not it was in my potential, because Wilson had done such a great job of preparing me as a public speaker, as a question asker, as one who manages their schedule and balances extracurriculars with core academics. And again, graduating Burroughs, I knew that I wanted to go to Vanderbilt. And by then that foundation from Wilson had long been laid, so I knew I was on the right path. Parts of my experience at Wilson also taught me how to deal with change. Actually, the spring of my fifth grade year, just prior to returning from break, part of the school caught fire. So we quickly had to move to an interim location for a while. We were actually at the center of Clayton for a couple months, and then a location on Maryland Avenue for a little while longer. But in all of that, I watched the faculty and staff, and it taught me never to break stride in my academics or athletics, and honestly, just to have fun in the meantime. And sitting here in the midst of a pandemic, I couldn't think of a better way to apply that now, dealing with, am I going to go to school? Am I going to stay home? Am I going to run track, or am I just going to train? So for that, I'm very grateful for too. I think the most important thing that Wilson taught me was to be a well-rounded individual. Just personally, I can remember driving hours to math competitions, training for Girls on the Run, taking field trips to the Missouri State Capitol and civil rights museums, and to Chicago as well. I remember developing writing skills and taking typing courses and learning the Dewey Decimal System, and all of that combined for, in my opinion, a very well-rounded educational experience. And from the moment I had that, I knew that that was something that I wanted to look for in a secondary school and in college. And sitting here at Vanderbilt, I was actually just telling a track recruit the other day that the reason I love it here is because my experience is so incredibly multifaceted. Obviously, it's an academically rigorous institution in the midst of an incredibly competitive conference, being the SEC, and sitting here in Nashville, an incredibly busy and growing city, balancing a social life as well. And all of those were aspects that I found at Wilson as well. And just to speak on academics and share a little personal story, but obviously academics were challenging wherever I went. And that started at sixth grade me sitting at Wilson, sitting at the dining room table across from my dad. Dad, I know you're in this call somewhere. But I remember many nights sitting across from the dining room table from you and working on that last math problem and not being able to get it, but eventually overcoming it. And I can just think of the feeling of how rewarding it was to apply an educational experience like Wilson and to overcome that challenge. And I found that I've loved that ever since. So just to close, I wanted to talk on the Wilson community for a second, just because it has meant so much to me. And being able to come back here and to speak to you all, it's an incredibly grateful feeling. Wilson has given me some of my very best friends I still talk to today. They were my classmates way back when. And many of my favorite teachers were those I had during my time at Wilson. I was fortunate enough to attend, and my brother soon followed after me. And my dad still today remains part of the Wilson Board of Trustees. So that should tell you in a little bit how much we love this school, and we continue to love this school. What I find that I'm most grateful for, however, is that Wilson is a school that supported me during my time and thereafter. A couple weeks ago, I was actually fortunate enough to break the Vanderbilt school record. And I found that Wilson had made a shout out post on their Facebook. And I saw that, and just that feeling of being remembered by such a great school and being shouted out I could not have been more grateful for. And the fact that Wilson feels like a home that I can always go back to, I think shares part of my experience, and I'm sure it will be the same for you all. So thank you all for your time. I hope my experience was noteworthy, and I wish you all the best of luck, and thank you again.